I gotta shave, don't I? I'll be right back. Ah, that's better. At least I think so. What do you think? Does that look better? All right, so let's introduce the Gerber Skyridge. This is a fairly new release from Gerber. And my name's Jake, and this is Canadian Cutting Edge that you're watching. And we're going to do a review on this knife today. And if you'd like to see more, stick around. We're going to move the camera into the tabletop mode, and we're going to take a good close look at the various features of this nice assisted knife. You already heard me say nice, so there you go. I like it. So here we've got the Gerber Skyridge. And I wonder how many of you noticed that I had changed my glasses. When I went to go shave, I came back, I was wearing different glasses. Sometimes we don't always notice all the small things, and that's what my problem was when I bought this knife. I was driving through the United States this summer, and in Wyoming, I noticed there was a Walmart that had this Gerber knife. I wasn't expecting them to. And it was $17 in a package that had been previously opened. I thought, great, I'm going to open the package anyways. I don't mind. Shell out the $17, take this thing home. And when I get home to Canada and I start playing with this knife and I start using it and enjoying it, I noticed that the tip is bent. And then I was ticked off with myself for not noticing that. I should have thought twice. You know, the package had been opened at the store and repacked up. It was a clearance item, even though it's a new release, fairly new release. I should have realized it. But instead of complaining too much, I was thinking about, well, how can I fix it? And so I was taking a really close look at the tip. And I might insert some footage now of the actual knife. Gerber, that can't happen. You've got to be able to have your quality control better than that. It's just too obvious on the tip of the blade. I say that even though I didn't notice it when I bought it. So perhaps that's on me a little bit as well. I should have left it in the store. The tip had been bent, and it was obvious that it was bent in the factory before they sold it. And quality control, quality assurance didn't notice. And so I spent the money, around $17 Canadian. That's about $14 US that I spent to ship the thing back. And Gerber sent me a brand new one. And so I spent about $31 American on this knife. And it retails, Blade HQ has it for $30. Knife Center has it $32. Amazon has it $36. Yeah, so I paid pretty much the going price for this knife, so I don't feel too bad. It's a nice knife. I like this sort of drop point Wharncliffe kind of style cross between the two. A nice hollow grind here. We've got a little over 3 inches of cutting edge, so I'm measuring from my fingernail to the left to the tip. That's about 8 centimeters of cutting edge. We've got a handle that is about 4 5/8 long. That's roughly around 12 centimeters. The entire length is about 20 centimeters or 7 7/8 inches, something like that. And this bead blast on this blade makes this 7CR17 MOV look okay. I kind of like a bead blast, not as much as I like a stonewash, but I like a bead blast as well, about the same as I like a satin blade. This one's pretty good. I don't mind it at all. It's, I forgot to measure the thickness of the blade before I started recording. So let's measure that. It's just under 3 millimeters. It's 2.85 millimeters. That is roughly a tenth of an inch. Yeah, just over a tenth of an inch. If I can get the light just right there. There we go. So yeah, it's a nice looking knife. It's a nice size knife. It's a nice weight knife at 4.2 ounces. That's about 118 grams. It's got a nice looking handle with these purple or blue liners. They're called blue in most places, but I think they look sort of purplish. It has these glass-filled nylon handle scales that have this nice texture on them, this nice checkered kind of, not checker, this square kind of texture on them. Gerber put their name on the handle here. It's not overstated. I like that. And they've got their logo imprinted on the blade right there, which is pretty nice. And they did it on the clip as well. So you can really know that this is a Gerber whenever you pick it up. Or if somebody sees you with it, they know you've got a Gerber. Let's talk about how it deploys. It's an assisted blade. So we've got a nice spring in there. You start it with the thumb stud and off she goes. A fairly strong spring at that. You have to press this button in order to be able to close the blade. That releases a slight kind of locking mechanism that holds the blade in the open position. And then it's got another lock as well, and that's the smaller button where with this red line on this side, when you press it in, now it's doubly locked in the open position. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to close accidentally on you. Yes, technically it could fail and close on your hand. So yes, do use all due diligence when you're using any knife. They can all fail at some point, especially folding knives. But this one's pretty rock solid with the double locking mechanisms. So you unlock the first lock and the red pin comes out, or the pin with the red line. Then you press in this button and you can close the blade. And then what you can do is you can engage this lock again and the knife will not open in your pocket. So anyone who's had a knife open in their pocket and you've cut yourself badly, or even worse, if that's happened to you twice, you are really looking for an EDC that has this kind of function. I'm sure you don't want to cut yourself again. Now, if someone's out there and you have cut yourself badly twice and you disagree with me, hey, it's a free country. I can be wrong. And I'm just thinking a lot of people will like this feature if they've cut themselves before. It does slow down the use of the knife, though, of course. If you've got that lock engaged, you pull it out of your pocket and you go to flip the blade out and nothing happens. You have to disengage the lock on that first one and then you can deploy the blade. The blade deploys easily in the left hand. It's a nice blade. I like these mushroom style thumb studs. They look kind of cool and they're very functional. Nothing wrong with them at all. The handle has a nice kind of look to it and it feels good in the hand. This sort of gentle but decent sized choil here holds your hand in place quite well. Your three fingers go along this flat area and your index finger hugs in there. And this knife is very well and truly in your hand. And so I use my knives to EDC things like paper. Oh, yes. Big, bad, nasty paper. Oh, that was really bad. I almost always, since I am left-handed, I almost always cut this way. See, the blade is just fine. That was just me not doing it very well with my right hand. So you got a nice knife, a nice edge from the factory. It doesn't have a sharpener's choil. I really wish it did. It's not that hard to put one on, guys, especially on a knife that you're selling for 30 bucks. Your Chinese competition does that on knives half this price. I like this purple scales, not scales, the liners in there, blue liners in there. They look really nice. They're not skeletonized, but they are pretty thin. So they allow for the whole knife to be 4.2 ounces, 118 grams or so. So it's not too heavy in the hand at all. And it's, it's a good knife. I really like this. I'm going to be buying more Gerbers. I only own a few right now. And this one has really got me convinced that I should be buying a few more of these Gerber knives. It's got all Torx construction for you to take it apart if you want to do a big thorough cleaning. Although you can clean it pretty well because it does have open pillar construction. So you can get in there and clean that out with your cotton swabs. I don't think these locking mechanisms are going to get full of grit and stuff. But as you can see, there are little cutouts and such for the knife. Where's my pen? That hold these locks in place, like right there. If I get the angle just right on the light, you can sort of see it right there. There we go. That we've got that little cutout in the end of the blade for one of the locks. And there's a second one as well, so these two locks can both engage and hold the blade, both open or closed. The clip is pretty good. I like how it's a really deep carry. I don't like how far it sticks out right here at the end. The first one that I had was identical to this, so it's not like this one got bent the wrong way and in a quality control problem. This is how they come. I would have liked it to be a little closer. If it would have stayed as close to the scales as it does here, that would have been better, but it's like a millimeter, like 1/16 of an inch out further than it should be. That's not an awful lot, except for it can get hot in the hand. Right here where I drew this circle, that's where it can create a hot spot right on the tip of this clip. The other funny thing about this clip is it's right side tip up only. That's the only option you have for carrying this. But when it sits in the pocket, with this flat end of the clip being level with this, when you go to put it in your pocket, it's sitting like that. So your pocket's straight across here, and the knife wants to sit something like that. In other words, it's sweeping frontwards into your pocket towards your some of your favorite pieces and parts, when I would much rather that it would sweep to the back of the pocket, back to my hip. The cool thing about that is you can't move the scale over, but if you put this in your left pocket, it sweeps it back to your hip. And pulling it out of your back pocket with your left pocket this way isn't too bad. You're going to have to do multiple steps anyways if you've got the knife locked. So it's not really going to slow you down that much, if you need to pull it out of your left-hand pocket with this right side construction. If you want to be able to deploy a knife very quickly, you're probably not going to buy this knife. If you just need a knife that you need to deploy within, 3 or 4 seconds, which is really all it takes, this is a really good choice with all these locks and safeties on it. I like this huge belly on the blade that makes for really good cutting. I've got some banding here, and it can just slide through this banding no problem. It cuts really, really well. There's no problem with how well it cuts or how hard it is to cut. Let's try some paracord here. There we go. We've got 4 layers of paracord there. Zips through that without any issues, and it cuts through very well. I think this is a good EDC. It's got decent weight. It's got good purchase. It's got a nice edge on the steel. It's got some safety features that some people would like. This is definitely a buy. I'm going to be buying more Gerber knives, partly because of this knife. This is the Gerber Skyridge. It's fairly new. Cheapest place I found to buy it in the United States is Blade HQ right now at $30. It's a good knife. If you like this video, please click on like in the lower, sorry for shaking the camera there, in the lower right-hand corner down here, or shares down in the lower left-hand corner. And let your friends know about this. Please comment and ask any questions of anything that I forgot to cover or missed, or something you want some clarification on. And if you just want to say hi, please stop by. If you're new to this channel, or if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to subscribe so you'll be notified of every video as it comes out. I really enjoy making videos for you guys, and I enjoy the community that we've built up here even more. So thanks a lot. I appreciate you all. Remember, always cut towards your chum and not your thumb. Bye now.